Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel, Pennies and Salt. If you're new here, I'm Megan and I am a homeschooling mom of 6 kids. So we have been homeschooling for a little over 6 years. So today I'm just going to give kind of an update on where we are halfway through the school year. So we actually started our school year in July. We are year-round homeschoolers. I love year-round homeschooling because it allows us the ability to take breaks when life happens, or just, I actually really like the routine and kind of the constant state of learning in our home. I feel like it helps our home even run a lot smoother when we are in a constant routine. So that is the reasons that we are year-round homeschoolers. So in this video, I am going to share an update of our halfway point in the school year. And then I'm also in another video going to share just a walkthrough of getting our planning started for this next semester. So I'm super excited. So this is a point in the year where either you have completely run out of steam, which I have been there, or you're pepped up and ready to roll with this new semester. So as I said at the beginning of the video, I am a homeschool mom to 6 kids, and the ages are 10, so he's in 5th grade. Then I have a 3rd grader who is getting ready to turn 9. I have a 1st grader who is 7 and a kindergartner who is 6 now. And then I also have a 3-year-old that I do really informal activities and things like that for early learning with her. And then I have a toddler who's 18 months. So those are the ages and stages of my kids. If you are new here, I'll kind of do a brief overview of how things work in our home. So last year, I decided I really wanted to simplify things for our homeschool. I really needed to do something to lessen really what was becoming a burden on me as a mom and a homeschool mom. So I decided to completely simplify our homeschool to the point where the only subjects that we do separately are math and reading/language arts. All of the other subjects are done as family subjects, and if it's a curriculum, for example, like our science, they do make like a younger child version of this science. But this science is extremely easy to adapt to my younger kids. So, same with Story of the World and America's Story 1 that we are using for history. So, and of course, Bible, we are using this. I will link this video down below that explains a little bit more about how we use the Truth and Grace memory book for our Bible time. But all of these things are very easily done as a family group and easily adaptable depending on the ages. So my thoughts, let's go over what my thoughts are so far on those subjects that we're doing. So I actually did a video on America's Story 1. I will link it down below as well if you're interested in that. And it's just kind of my thoughts so far. We are really enjoying it. I'm actually teaching it as a class at our co-op. So my older kids, my 3 older ones, are actually in that class that I teach at co-op. So they get most of the teaching there, and then we just read the chapter throughout the week and do any other activities that need to be done that aren't done on Mondays at our co-op. So I do like that curriculum. However, I am a die-hard Story of the World fan. I have done several videos on this curriculum. I have another one. I'm not sure if I'll release it before this video or after, but I have another one that is coming out that is how I set up this curriculum. And so I will link it down below depending on whenever it comes out. So I love Story of the World, and it was not something that I was willing to let go of when we were doing America's Story 1. So Story of the World was not something I was willing to let go of. And I find it very valuable to still use this alongside of America's Story 1, because I also want my kids to have the perspective of what else was going on in history around the same time as all these events in America. So we are using this one day a week at home and just reading selected chapters that are about other history in the world. So we're skipping the chapters on America for the most part, on American history, and we are lining up the historical events that happened other places in the world one day a week. So this is how we're using this one. As far as science, we are really loving this. Well, I am especially really loving this. So I mentioned this in a video before. It is working exactly the way that I had planned. So we have done Apologia. Well, my oldest has done Apologia. We have done just informal, you know, making our own curriculum, basically reading through different Usborne books, things like that, which works great until I feel like a certain point when kids do need a little bit more structure to their science. So my oldest is in 5th, and I feel like we're at that point. And then we've also tried the unit studies from The Good and the Beautiful. And while I didn't not like those, they weren't really a good fit for us. I did want a little more depth, and I did want a little more like cohesion, if that makes sense. So I wanted something that was kind of like a unit study, but kind of connected it all together. So in comes Master Books, God's Design series. And basically what they've done is they've taken the unit studies from Answers in Genesis curriculum, and they have meshed them together into cohesive units. So this one includes the world of plants, the human body, and the world of animals. So it's all about, it is the theme of life science, but we're not doing all human body. Like with Apologia, my oldest son did anatomy. You guys, it was intense. And learning about human anatomy as an elementary school student for an entire year, we both were just over it. It's a great curriculum, but for like elementary and middle school, I am preferring this big time, loving it. So as I mentioned before, it is very adaptable to all of the ages of my kids. My kindergartner, she may not be able to do all of the like worksheet kind of things, but there's lots of activities that you can pull in and that the younger ones can be involved in, and they get just as much out of it as the older kids. There's been a couple of times when I printed off just like a free printable that I found on Pinterest, things like that. So it's very versatile in that sense. So I am loving this, loving just kind of our whole setup. So one thing that is going to have to change as far as our whole family and school in general, just our homeschool in general, is I am working to find a new routine. So at the beginning of our school year that started in July, my youngest was still taking 2 naps a day. Well, now that he's 18 months old, he is only taking 1 nap a day. So what this is doing is, and he's a very active toddler, running around, getting into everything kind of stage, okay? So if you have been a homeschooling mom with a toddler for any amount of time, you can imagine the distraction that occurs, especially when he and the 3-year-old band together. I swear they're conspiring against me. So there are times when our routine just does not work at all. So that is one thing that I am revamping for this semester. And I am going to kind of have to fill it out to find this new rhythm. I have an idea in my head of how it's going to work. Part of it includes baby gates and various bins of activities for them to be involved in over to the side as we go through our school stuff. So that's kind of my mindset with this. And I will be giving an update on what our new routine looks like and all that good stuff. I will also do, like I said, a separate video that I'm getting ready to also film right after I finish this of our setup and planning for this semester. So make sure that you check that out. If you're not subscribed, push that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when there's new videos coming out. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the reading curriculums. Let's do that. Okay, so reading. So my oldest son, in my update video towards the beginning of the year, you may have seen that I actually ditched his master books, language lessons for a living education, after the first lesson. It was just not a good fit for him at all. I know that might sound drastic to some of you all, and some of you might be thinking, well, you didn't give it a chance if it was after one lesson. But you guys, it just was, I could tell it was just not a good fit. He is my very bookish kid, in the sense that he can diagram sentences like crazy and enjoys that in his language arts. He's an avid reader. He just needs that more focused language arts and reading program. So something that will challenge him, and that was just not a challenge for him. So I actually moved him to the Good and the Beautiful for language arts. So I was a little bit reluctant at first, but after really combing through all the things that are out there, it really was the best fit for him, as far as it including everything that I needed it to include for his language arts. So I actually started him at level 4, only because I wanted to make sure that there were no gaps in between what we were doing. It has been a really good fit for him. If you're familiar with the Good and the Beautiful, you know it does side a little more with the advanced side. So level 4 is not really your typical 4th grade level. So, and he's in 5th. So it's still a good fit for him. So that is how that is going. Very well. Then my next son, who is getting ready to turn 9, he's in 3rd grade. He is dyslexic, and we have been using the Pride reading program. And you guys, I will be doing a final video on this in the next couple of months. It has been life-changing, absolutely life-changing for him, and for me as well in teaching him. And it has been extremely effective. So be looking for that video if that's something that you're interested in as well. For my 1st grader, we are using language lessons for a living education level 1. He had a little bit of the foundations phonics to finish out towards the beginning of the year, and then we moved right into the level 1 language lessons. Going very well. There's a few things, I will talk more about it when I do a final review at the end of the year of that curriculum, but there's a few things that are kind of bother me about it. However, for the most part, it has been an excellent fit and is working very well for him. My kindergartner, she finished foundations phonics, but she is like my oldest son. She is, I swear, I think I could have just never taught her to read. I think she would have learned on her own, which I have been so appreciative of, because it has not been that way with my other children. She's a very book-focused child. And so when she finished foundations phonics, my original plan was to do the language lessons for a living education level 1 with my 1st grader, the two of them together like I did with foundations phonics. However, she really needed something more that would be like a really big challenge for her. I knew that the Good and the Beautiful would actually be a really good fit for her as well. So we have been doing that. She started out doing 2 lessons a day. I did start her out at level K, because again, level K is not really kindergarten in their curriculum. It's a little more towards the end of kindergarten level or 1st grade. So she has been doing extremely well with that. She started out doing 2 lessons a day until we got to about lesson 38. No, till about lesson 40 something. She was doing 2 lessons a day, and so now we have cut back to 1 lesson a day, as it is getting more in depth with the reading and stuff like that. She's doing extremely well, and we will actually finish that before this school year is up. And my plan is just to take her into the next level. So when we finish what we're doing, we just hop right into the next level of that. So that is the reading. As far as math, Tanner is still doing Saxon. It's going very well. alongside that, he is also doing teaching textbooks kind of as like a math enrichment thing. I have him do Saxon 3 days a week and teaching textbooks 1 day a week, and he does a couple of lessons usually with the teaching textbooks. Also, my 3rd grader, he is doing Christian Light Education for math. We love Christian Light Education math. It's an excellent, solid program. I probably will do a video on that at some point if you guys are interested. So that is how that is going. Then my younger 2 are actually doing, I had purchased, so my original plan was to do Horizons. However, Horizons Level 1 needed a little bit more foundational work before we could start it. So I decided to do Level 1 of Master Books, Math Lessons for a Living Education. So they are going through that. It is going well. So I guess that is our update for our 2nd semester of homeschool. So I'm excited about this 2nd semester. I have been planning for it, and just like I said, super excited about it. I am energized to push through and finish the year strong. So that is our update. So the biggest thing is trying to find that new rhythm and routine for our homeschool and really just hit the ground running as soon as we start back this coming week. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I would love if you have any questions or anything like that, put them down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on future videos. Thanks so much, guys, and have a blessed day.
You'll be alright. There will be some